This past Monday, the City Commission had a number of things on the agenda, but I'm only going to talk about a couple of them today. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Commission approved a ballot question for the city's 1 cent sales tax that comes up for renewal every 5 years. The City Commission approved ballot language that changes the structure of the sales tax, and I'm going to briefly explain what those changes look like. So, the current sales tax, the one in effect right now, has an election to reauthorize every 5 years. And that has actually been on the books since its inception back in 1989. The proposed change, however, is to convert that from a cycle of every 5 years to a continuous sales tax, which will not require an election except if the community wants to change the allocation formulas, as we'll talk about in a moment. So we'll go from a 5-year cycle to a continuous sales tax. Now, the distributions have changed a little bit as well. The first distribution, property tax reduction at $1.65 million, or the equivalent of about 15 mils, will remain in place. So that stays current, as well as will carry over to the proposed sales tax ballot question. Street maintenance dollars, however, will change with the proposed sales tax question. So presently, the city allocates $600,000 to street maintenance, and that number will increase under the proposed question to $700,000. This will also give the city some additional dollars to spend on minor maintenance, such as pothole patching and large patches, as well as sealing work. Economic development has also been proposed for changes. Presently, the city allocates $100,000 to economic development. The ballot language, however, will reduce this to zero for economic development. And then anything above the aforementioned amounts, presently $2.35 million, will go to the excess sales tax fund. Over the last several years, this has fluctuated anywhere between $300,000 to upwards of $700,000 based on the amount of actual receipts the city brings in. And so those excess sales tax dollars will be readily available for the city to allocate to different projects that the City Commission and the Excess Sales Tax Committee recommends. The process will remain largely the same. Projects will be put forward to the Excess Sales Tax Committee, who will then make a recommendation to the City Commission for final approval and authorization. So that in a nutshell is the proposed changes to the sales tax, which will be on the general election ballot in November. Stay tuned for more information about the sales tax coming up in the next few months. Also on Monday, the City Commission approved a special use permit for the building that was the former Gizmos building there on North Main Street. The Pregnancy Life Center had proposed to relocate into that building, and they were in the process of rehabilitating the building for their uses. And then they came up with a great idea to convert that space into a daycare facility. And so they've been doing due diligence and maneuvering through all of the approval processes. And one of those approval processes was to obtain the zoning necessary to do a daycare in that facility. And so that went through the Planning Commission and ultimately arrived on the City Commission's desk, where they approved it unanimously on Monday to approve the special use permit to allow a daycare facility in that building. Now that the special use permit has been approved, the owner of the building will now begin the process of getting the building permits and everything approved so that they can actually begin and complete construction so that a daycare facility can exist in El Dorado, meeting some of our daycare needs. All right, one thing I need to share with you all is that next week, beginning on Sunday, is the ElDo Kids Week. So there's going to be a lot of great fun activities that are free for our young citizens to enjoy throughout the week. So the first thing is to talk a little bit about what those events and activities look like so you can begin to make your plans for Kids Week. So on Sunday, at the farmers market, which is going to be down at East Park, there's going to be an opportunity for kids to go down to the farmers market and decorate flower pots and even plant some marigolds and other flowers. So just a little fun opportunity for them to get out and kind of enjoy some of the farmers market activities. Then on Monday, they can go to the library and they'll be able to build with Legos. I personally love Legos. And so we'll have 2 different time slots based on ages where kids can come down and build their great creations, and they'll be showcased in some manner for the community to enjoy as well. On Tuesday, the Kansas Oil Museum will host a STEM activity, which will provide some insight into science and technology and probably have something to do with oil exploration. I don't know. Go down to the Oil Museum and find out more about that. Then on Wednesday, the swimming pool will host a free swim. So get your suits and come on down and cool off at the municipal pool on Wednesday. Thursday, we'll have art in the park. The Coots Museum will provide some great fun opportunities and activities in the park. That'll be at East Park. We've got giant gallon jugs of paint, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of great fun for kids down there. And then finally on Friday, we'll have a movie in the park featuring Lyle Crocodile, and that will be at Forest Park at 8:30. So we've got a lot of great things scheduled for the week. Make sure you go to the city's website and our Facebook page for more information, including times, locations, and the specifics about all of these great events, which are free for our young kids in our community. Kids Week starts Sunday and will go through Friday. I'd also like to thank our sponsors for this week's Kids Week. Special thanks to the Timer Guys, Oz Events, the Coots Museum of Art, the Kansas Oil Museum, and H.F. Sinclair. Without your support of this event, it wouldn't happen, so we thank you, and we hope everyone has a great time during Kids Week. So that's all I got for this week on Things to Know. Have a safe week, and we'll see you next week.